Hi, guys. I bet she makes friends easy.
Yeah.
It really does. This whole thing is so painfully 80s. It has an epic quality.
I'm jealous of your cigarette.
That's impressive.
Why are they throwing the furniture?
It's not rational.
I have never been able to work a pole this good.
That dude is my spirit animal. Nice.
Happy ending. Hi guys, this is Play It Again. I'm Ginger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we have a solemn song to share.
Yeah, sad one today.
Yeah, I was in a discussion with some of my peeps on my personal Twitter last night. We were talking about shipwrecks because I find like paintings and stories about shipwrecks really fascinating, even though I'm completely terrified of the water.
Yeah, right? Nothing more tragic than a shipwreck, I think.
It's true. And it came up that I hadn't realized it today.
November 10th.
November 10th is
Yep.
the 45th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which, for those of you who don't know, was one of the largest
Great Lakes freighters.
Great Lakes freighters ever, and certainly the largest to ever sink in the Great Lakes. It was a huge freighter that sank in Lake Superior in 1975 in a huge storm. The whole crew of 29 lost, right?
Yep.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with Lake Superior, we've been.
Yep.
We've actually swam in Lake Superior. It's on the best day 4 degrees Celsius, that
Yep.
water, and it is the deepest Great Lake in the world.
Yep.
So when a ship sinks there,
yeah, that's about 40 American.
it's pretty grim.
cold. And those boats, I'll tell you a little story. Those Great Lake boats, I don't know if you're watching from Europe or something, and you think lake boats are not very big. Let me tell you, as a kid, I sailed in a harbor where a Great Lake freighter was sitting empty in a 12-foot sailboat, and you look up and up.
It's like a skyscraper.
Those things are hundreds of feet high out of the water, and how many times longer than that? They are massive, massive ships. Yeah. Right? So they say a lake freighter, it sounds maybe not so big. Trust me, they're big.
Yeah, well, Lake Superior is very big.
Yep.
Right? Like I'm not sure what the scale of it would be for anything European, but it's
I'm sure it could swallow some of the smaller countries.
It's formidable. Right?
It's
that's
big.
a lake you don't want to contend with on the best day. It was powerful.
Yeah.
So
And Gordon Lightfoot here tells the epic tale.
We've talked about Gordon Lightfoot before when we did Black Day in July.
Yeah.
And how good he is at telling a long, soaring tale like a
One day we're going to have to do a happy Gordon Lightfoot song. They do exist.
Are there happy Gordon Lightfoot?
Sure.
Oh yeah, there's that disco one. But anyway, I thought because it's the 45th,
45th.
Sorry.
Thank you. We'll get it.
Because it's the 45th anniversary today of the sinking of the freighter, and because that story actually really affected me for a long time. I cannot think about Lake Superior or step my toe in it without thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, we were kids in the 70s when it happened, and when this song came on, it was kind of a big deal around here.
Yeah, and it's great. It's a great song.
Yeah.
When I say great song, it's not something you'd want to dance to, but
strap in, get your tissues.
Yeah, it's a story for sure. Let's go.
An air and sea search is continuing for possible survivors of the Edmund Fitzgerald, a 729-foot ore carrier, which apparently broke apart and sunk last night on Lake
729
Superior.
feet long.
The ship and its 29-man crew vanished in a storm.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The
You can see the size of it, eh?
never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side. coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later that night when the ship's bell rang, could it be the north wind they'd been feeling?
Spoiler alert, it was the north wind.
It's like an Arctic blast that comes right across that lake. It's
the wind
incredible.
in the wires made a tattletale sound, and the wave broke over the railing. And every man knew, as the captain did too, 'twas the witch of November come stealing. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales of November came slashing. When afternoon came, it was freezing rain in the face of a hurricane west wind.
A ship that size on that angle makes me very nervous. My stomach turning little loops.
He's right, it's like it was hurricane force winds, right?
When summertime came, the old cook came on deck saying, fellas, it's too rough to feed you. At 7 p.m. a main hatchway gave in. He said, fellas, it's been good to know ya. The captain wired in, he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. Later that night when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
The last contact we had, he, 10 minutes after 7, the motor street was 10 miles ahead and gave him a position because his radar was out. That said that he was holding his own and making out fine. He was like, all good. That's the information that we have, and it's very certain that the Fitzgerald went down.
Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? The searchers all say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they'd put 15 more miles behind her. They might have split up or they might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. And all that remains is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters.
That's what you're searching for is the Edmund Fitzgerald. Standby one, let me get the Arthur Anderson on this frequency. He is the vessel that reported seeing the Fitzgerald disappear from his radar screen, and he was the last
Lake
one.
Huron rolls Superior sings in the rooms of her ice water mansion. Old Michigan steams like a young man's dreams. The islands and bays are for sportsmen. And farther below, Lake Ontario takes in what Lake Erie can send her. The iron boats go, as the mariners all know, with the gales of November remembered.
Lieutenant William Holtz of the U.S. Coast Guard base in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, says the vessel has been officially declared lost.
Well, the search is continuing. We have a number of merchant vessels in the area assisting us in collecting debris. 2 life rafts and 2 lifeboats and a number of life jackets have been positively identified as coming from the Fitzgerald. The Coast Guard cutter Naugatuck is presently in the area assisting in the collection of debris.
See all these guys in their 50s, these weren't rookies.
Well, you said
In a musty
captain and
old
crew well
hall in
seasoned, right?
Detroit, they prayed in the Maritime Sailors Cathedral.
Lots of really young guys, too.
The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times for each man on the Edmund Fitzgerald. And the legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early.
So you're sitting there on the flat water.
It looks so calm,
looks
right?
invincible.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they thought the same about the Titanic, right? It's stories like that came up when I was a kid that I, honest to God, really informed my... I have a significant dislike for boats, guys, right? Like, I've almost drowned a couple of times, but I have a deep respect for deep water, right? Like...
And man, does he tell you how it goes, right? And he says when the waves turn the minutes to hours.
Yeah. Well, when I was reading about some of the history of it last night, and I mean, I've heard this story so many times, but I was boning up because I was in a discussion with some of my friends, and they were like an hour from their destination, right? Like they weren't even very far, but it's so deep and it's so cold. And the waves were so big that night that, I mean, it was the middle of the night. So there's just no...
Yeah, and you know, the Arthur Anderson was not too far behind, had her in sight most of the storm. Yeah. And then just disappeared.
Just gone. Like that. Something so big, right?
You know, some kind of black swan wave, who knows, right? But what a tragedy. But man, what a song of it.
Oh yeah,
the guitar sound is so mournful.
Yeah, Gordon Lightfoot always could pull it out really well,
and
right?
Does anything tug your heartstrings like "Fellas, it's been good to know you"? Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the wives and the sons and the daughters.
The Mariner's Tales always get me. I'm not sure why. Yeah. It's that, well, one of my friends compared it to that movie, The Perfect Storm. I don't think I've ever watched that. I don't think I've watched it because
I watched it.
I would find it too terrifying, right? Like
it was pretty terrifying.
Right? Like I couldn't even imagine. I get a little bit just out on a nice day, but it takes a special kind of bravery, I think, to get on a big boat like that, on big water like that, especially in the middle of November.
Yep.
So, my respect, guys. Yeah. And certainly to Mr. Lightfoot, who is a real gem.
National treasure.
Absolutely. So, that little trip down history lane, and here I am crying again a little. Thanks for that. Thanks, Gordon.
It was your bright idea.
It was my idea. I hate to see stories like that get lost because that's the rich texture of especially places that are so. If you haven't seen Lake Superior, definitely if you ever travel to Canada, I recommend it. It is really something to see. It's quite the place.
Yep.
Anyway. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that enough. You're going to want to play it again, but get some tissues and pour yourself a scotch before you do it. Or whiskey, whatever
your beverage of choice.
Bourbon. Okay. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. You can find us on Twitter. We are at PlayItAgainMG. And thanks for coming out, guys.